Twitter the Great. I will discuss why I think this is a global issue now. First, let me tell you what all happened with Twitter today and why I think it's a global issue, because it's a little too weird. What is being reported of what Twitter said is not adding up. To my brain, it doesn't make sense. What Twitter, the arrogance of Twitter, the defiance of Twitter, the constant needling of India by Twitter, the constant pushing of boundaries of India by Twitter. So I think this is more global than about only Twitter. Firstly, what happened today? Twitter, as usual, thinks it's a sovereign country with its own army, military, its own air force, its own information technology. It has its own trade, because a company doesn't speak like this when it's operating in a foreign country. It doesn't even speak like this when it's operating in its own country. What did Twitter do today? Well, bluntly, they said we follow our own policies. They were asked, do you follow the law of the land? And they gave stock boilerplate answers, which mean nothing, and said, we follow our own policy. Then they were also asked, do you have executive authority? Who decides? Who has the authority? And then they said, we are not competent to answer this. So two questions now. One to the government of India and one to Twitter. And then I will say why I think it's a global issue. If you are joining for the first time, please subscribe and join live whenever I come live. I generally put it on my YouTube an hour before I'm likely to come, unless it's something very urgent I feel like talking. Okay, my phone's ringing later. Unless I feel like it's something very urgent, I tell you then and there. So do join in the live. The question to Government of India. US summons Jack Dorsey. He himself comes. Why does India not push that the CEO would come and answer? Dorsey would answer, or we do not need mid-level staff, which says we are not competent to comment. Then what the heck are you doing there? Why are you before the... It's the parliamentary panel. It's a parliament of India, right? Are we dealing with people who don't have the authority to answer? I don't appreciate that happening. And I said this before also. When they had in 2019 beginning summoned Twitter, again, Dorsey hadn't come. Honestly, my dear Parliament of India, stop summoning them or ensure Jack Dorsey comes. I, as an Indian, do not want my parliament to summon people who come and say we don't have authority to comment, or we don't have authority to clarify, or we don't have authority to decide. Please don't do it here. Don't waste the time. Don't waste your time. Please just don't do it. A Parliament of India should talk when it summons only the top. Unless it's an information gathering thing, yeah, then you can summon a mid-level executive. When it's confrontation, parliamentary panel doesn't talk to people who don't have authority. That's my angst. That's my angst against the parliament doing it. Second point, I hope India reaches the stage where they live stream this so that we can see, why are I can understand some proceedings being secret, but why are these parliamentary panel proceedings not being live telecasted? I'm relying on media reports, right? Why can't I see it myself? Why can't you see it yourself? The parliament itself is live streamed now. The parliament is live streamed. Unless there is a special reason to have a secret proceeding, please live stream it. The nation deserves to know. How much have we developed? How much have we learned by watching our parliamentarians speak? I just gave an example that the Leh MP made a brilliant speech. How often we have seen those brilliant speeches? You see, and across the platform, so many brilliant speeches, sometimes funny speeches. But we need to see that. So when you are grilling this company which believes it has white man's burden, do you know the term white man's burden? Do you know civilizational missions? Do you know civilizing missions? How many of you know this? This mindset, white man's burden. Well, when they were capturing countries across the world, Africa, Asia, including India, one of the moral arguments they put forth for their savagery, all invaders are savage, for their savagery was it's a white man's burden to civilize the masses. We are going on a civilizing mission to Africa, to Asia. We are bringing them modern life. To India, where you had a civilization with a well laid drainage system when some of these countries were not even having leaves to cover themselves. When they didn't even have leaves to cover themselves. That is what we had. But as I said, all aggressors justified on the grounds of morality. And now what is happening? Now what is happening is one of the questions I'm told, as I said, we have to rely on media reports, was that they asked, how did you decide to ban certain accounts? Probably Kangana Ranaut's account. Who makes that decision? And I've forgotten the name of the person who had said Jai Shri Ram, Hindus, and such an objectionable comment that guy had made with a blue tick. You remember that comment? All Hindus who chant Jai Shri Ram or some, I've forgotten the exact words. He had said his account wasn't banned. That was hate speech. There was no other definition to call it. His account doesn't get banned. Why? Why wasn't his account banned? And there are 20 other examples. Why does that happen? Why doesn't this happen? We have to seriously ask ourselves that question. And that is why I said, I am not happy. Please don't summon. Please don't summon Twitter. I request the parliament, don't summon Twitter. Because if you summon Twitter and their employees behave arrogantly, that reflects badly on the members of parliament, that reflects badly on our Bharat. Please summon Jack Dorsey. Say if you are not willing to appear, give him time. Give him time. It's not a battle which will be over in 10 days. Give him a 15-day notice. Give him a month's notice if you want. But don't do it short of that. Now let me add one more point to this, a very important, a very vital point to this. Why I think I have come to the conclusion that it's this arrogance, this defiance, this delay is too big for it to be only by Twitter. In this sense, without backing Twitter to do this, it knows India can shut it down. India is a big market in terms of numbers, not money. They don't make much money here. But in terms of numbers, it adds to their Twitter user base. Adds to their user base. Why would they keep messing with India on very basic things? They were asked, Ghaziabad Loni incident. They were asked that. In fact, the MD of Twitter has been summoned by Ghaziabad police. So why wouldn't they not take it down? Why would they remove Singapore strain when Singapore says and not do it with Indian variant? Why was all that happening? That to me appears that somehow either the investors in Twitter, the funders of Twitter, or the global forces. Do you remember how US has the full right to elect whomsoever it wants to elect, like India has the full right to elect whomsoever it wants to. Indians don't even comment about or can't do anything about who is elected in US or Europe or any other country. But remember Twitter's power or arrogance that it had banned the sitting president of US. It had removed the verification of the sitting vice president of India, Venkaiah Naidu. It had removed verification of the topmost of Sangha, the topmost the, of Sangh leadership. Is it a way of, if BJP makes an allegation, to call it manipulated media, and then when the other side does it, to keep quiet? What actually and exactly is happening is what we need to see, understand. It ain't so simple. Why would a company, a reasonably small company, I won't say it's a tech behemoth, tech giants are different, and they are all okay because they are doing business. Their business is selling some product. Amazon sells XYZ products. They don't want to mess with the government on these issues. So does every other company. This company is its business, controlling narratives, deciding governments. So this does trouble me. This does make me think that a company is not so defiant, so consistently defiant, without there being a larger picture behind it, without there being a larger issue behind it. What that issue is, does it get resolved? That is why I said it will be a long haul. It's a long battle now. It doesn't appear to be a small one. I'll take 2-3 questions now. So, why not any democratic country has laws severely punishing lawyers knowingly, not only justice? I have not understood your question, my friend. Sir, why not any India has laws severely? Sorry, I have not understood the question. Sharjeel Usmani. One example, the person I was referring to, maybe. Just one example. What can I do? What can I do? So, that is one of the things. Why not put, let me know the question. Why not put MD of Twitter? Why use you can? We have Ku. Some people, I'm on Ku. You can, same name, Ishkaran Singh Bandari. I'll post my Ku account on, what is it called? Photos of YouTube. I will post my Ku account on the photos of YouTube. You can follow me there. But my point is something else also. If we can be on Ku, we should be on Ku. I don't like leaving battlefields. You can't, whatever limited effort we can make, we should make. We can't disappear from battlefields. Either you ban it, regulate it, or we have to fight the good fight, even with one hand tied behind our back, like Twitter. They will never verify people like me. I have a reasonably good following. 1,000 following people are verified. I have a pretty decent following, 350,000 plus. They won't verify me. So that I have way more national media outreach. Every day I'm on multiple debates than some journalists who are published in some local paper and nobody knows them. But they will be verified with 2,000 followers. But I still say don't leave the battlefield. Yeah, tomorrow Twitter decides to take action against any one of us, ban us, suspend us. What can you do then? But the government has to let the action be taken. So that is the reality. That is how I see it. And I think it's a global issue. And let's see how it goes. And tomorrow, I will put my roast on English also. You can join it, see it, those who missed out, because I think people are enjoying a funny session. And Saturday, one should have funny sessions. Take care. Good night.